Okay, so 9th of April 2020 or April 9th, 2020, depending on where you are. Or maybe you're ahead there. If you're somewhere else in the world, it's the 10th. This is solar fire. I'm just going to show you some things so you understand a little bit about how solar fire, what it looks like. So basically, what you have is that you have a program here, and I use Porphyry because I do evolutionary astrology. So what I'm going to show you is if we take an app, go by hour, and I'm going to move this chart. This is currently right now, I'm in London, UK, and the chart is 23:57:08, going to nearly, it's going to be midnight shortly. So in 1 minute or less. So what we're going to do is that I'm just going to take 1 hour at a time. So if we go an hour ahead, we can see that the planets are moving. Particularly, you can see the moon, for instance. What we have here is the ascendant. So the ascendant changes every couple of hours. So for instance, I was a Gemini born on the 21st of May 1966. And if throughout a day, the rising sign keeps changing, and the rising sign is basically who you are in the world, so to speak. So part of who you are in the world. So because of that, a Gemini, you could have a Gemini sun, but you could be any 12 of the signs. You could, like rising sign could be anything, depending on the time you were born. So for instance, for me, I was born at 8:30 p.m., but if I'd been born, as an example, you know, maybe 2 hours later, I would have been Sagittarius rising. And again, if I was born earlier, instead of being Scorpio rising, which I am, I would have been basically Libra rising. So it can really vary, like, you know, a chart is so individual. But if we look at the chart of what's going on right now, we can see that we've got the Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter conjunction going on here. We've got Pluto 24 degrees, Jupiter 25 degrees, and Saturn has just moved into Aquarius. It's at 1 degree. And we've got Mars at 7 degrees Aquarius. We've got Neptune at 19 degrees Pisces. Mercury moves really quickly, and that's going to be moving into Aries shortly. So you can see, if I go a few hours again, so you can see, if you look closely, that you've got, again, the ascendant keeps changing, and then we've got, watch what happens with here. This is Mercury. So what I'm going to do is keep pushing it forward by hour. Mercury's 28 degrees. It's moving around the chart backwards, you can see, but that's just because of the rising sign. So 28, and we keep moving it by hour. And then we will see that Mercury goes to 29 degrees. You can see that in the 3rd house at the bottom of the chart. And then it keeps going, and it's 29:52. You can see now it's in the 1st house, Mercury, the little purple sign there. This is just a little lesson for you. And then at London time, at 5:57 a.m. on the 11th of April, it will be at 0 degrees. Mercury will go to 0 degrees of Aries, okay? So we're having all of these changes going on, but you can see that Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter here are squaring Uranus at the moment. And you've also got some trines coming off there. You've got the moon will be in opposition with Venus on that day. And you've got some sextiles and semi-sextiles, and it's a really beautiful way to, you know, understand ourselves and what's going on in the world. So the breakdown of structure was basically on the day I'm going to show you here. You can see that I'm going to change this. So if I go to the 12th of January 2020, and I enter that, there you go. And I go here and then I click. Is it going to work? Yeah, right. So you got the 12th of January 2020. So this is fascinating if you look at this. This is the 12th of January 2020. And what you've got here, just beautiful what happened here. It showed, and astrologers knew this, the complete, utter breakdown of structure. We had Pluto, 22 degrees, Saturn, 22 degrees, Mercury, 22 degrees, the Sun was 21 degrees, and Jupiter at 9 degrees Capricorn. Okay, Mars is up here, the Moon was in Leo. We got the North Node there, which is this path, life path. Uranus in Taurus, which is to do with our resources, you know, and this is also in Taurus, but breaking free of limitations, 2 degrees there. Chiron in Aries, which is about healing our own wounds, you know, and then Neptune in Pisces been there forever, but it's gonna, you know, that's in a whole nother story. And then Venus moves quite quickly around the chart too. So then let's just take this week by week for fun. So if I go weeks, okay, so that's the 12th of January 2020. So watch this. These lines here, these are aspects. These are the way the planets talk to each other. This is how astrologers work out what's going on. So this conjunction here, the Saturn and Pluto that you can see there, the last time that happened was in Capricorn, was in 1518. And what happened was called the Reformation. And the printing press had just been rolled out, maybe, you know, let's say 50 to 100 years before that, but really being rolled out at that point. And it caused the breakdown of structure of, you know, religious doctrine and such like. You know, you can Google the Reformation to understand it. So if we just jump ahead now, so then we've had this virus come in, and we've had, you know, the financial crisis, and we're all in lockdown, and, you know, Pluto, birth, death, transformation, regeneration, you know, endings, beginnings, life, birth, death, Saturn, karma, father, structure as we know it, just really, really deep stuff going on here. So then watch this. So we're going to go weeks ahead. This is the 12th of January, so we're going to go the 19th of January. These are squares. The red are squares. The long blue lines are trines, but also you can have shorter, which are sextiles and semi-sextiles. A lot more going on than we can imagine in astrology. But if you go the weeks ahead, and you go like the 26th of January, so we go to the 2nd of February, and we still got the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, and we've got, you can see Jupiter up there. So what's happened is, if we keep jumping weeks ahead, and I'm going to do this because I want to show you that Jupiter up to date, catching up with the Pluto and Saturn, because when that Jupiter's kicked in, this Jupiter's about the ruler of Sagittarius, and Jupiter is about travel, it's about overseas, it's about learning, it's about publishing, and it's about the higher mind, the higher education, so, and truth ultimately. So we keep going, and we go to the 19th of April where we're not yet. Let's go back to the 12th. So we're about here, and you've still got this conjunction, and all of these planets are going to go retrograde. But I'm going to leave that there for now today and explain what all the retrogrades are going to be coming up. So that's it. I'm going to end my meeting here. I'm going to stop share and end meeting, and I'll be back with more. Okay.